Welcome everyone to Marketing Monday. It's that time again. Hopefully, you've all had a very relaxing weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska. We got to see some sunshine, and now we're ready to get started with Marketing Monday to start the week off with some marketing knowledge. And my name is Katherine Warren. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Kid Glove, a boutique marketing agency focusing on helping change makers. And I focus primarily on community health. So, those in behavioral health, public health, all of you doing such important work to create awareness in this field for the public to know about behavioral health needs, public health needs, and those important messages that need to get out to the community. And a big part of getting those messages out to the community is through grants and marketing that creates that education and awareness to the public. So, last time we spoke, I talked to you about using some Google Analytics tools to report on your grants. And there's a lot of tools in Google Analytics. People get degrees in using Google Analytics. So, what are the basics? What are the fundamentals that you can share with your grantors in order to show them that you are reaching the people targeted in those grant funds? And last time we talked about some of the basics of Google Analytics, using location information to show that you're targeting the correct locations of the grant funding, language diversity reporting to ensure that you're reaching those that speak the languages that you're looking to offer assistance to. And then age and gender, also oftentimes very important in grant funding. So today we're going to talk about a few other options to use Google Analytics to report additional information to your grantors. And I'm going to give you 3 more places to go in Google Analytics, in the maze of Google Analytics. So if you follow these 3, you'll have 3 additional interesting and impactful bits of information to share with your grantor. Number 1, most visited pages. So in Google Analytics, you can take a look at which pages on your website people visit the most. A lot of times, your grants are very specific to a certain type of awareness, a certain program that you're running, or a certain offering. So it's really nice to be able to show that grantor, hey, we had 1,000 visitors to our website, but 75% of them hit the page that gives the information that this grant covers. So giving them that information about that most visited page is very helpful. And you can also then dig in further to that page to tell your grantor how much time was spent on that page, how many people visited the page more than once. That is key information too. So if it's a resource that would make sense for them to go back to time and again to continue to learn more, you can show not only how many people visited the page, but how many people visited the page more than one time and how much time they spent on that page. So, the longer they spent on the page, if there's a lot of information, the more likely it is that they got the information and it really sunk in to what they needed to know. So, most visited pages is a great one. And as a marketer, I must remind you that there are lots of ways to drive traffic to that most visited page, whether it's through social media ads, digital ads, print materials, public events or events that you're doing online or offline. So just a reminder that the way you're going to be able to show success in that most visited page is to make sure that you're driving as much traffic to that page as possible. So that's one. Number 2 is using something called Google Tag Manager. And what Google Tag Manager can help you do is track specific pieces of your website. So let's say you have a button on your website that downloads important information that you want your public to have. Maybe it's a link to a survey that's on a different website. Maybe it's a button that takes them to more information on another website that's very important to your cause. So you can actually track the number of people that download that thing or that click on that button or that get to that information that you have that's not necessarily on a web page. So in order to do that, you would work with your web developer to set up a Google tag on your website, and then you can track that in Google Analytics. This one sounds a little complicated, but go right now and Google Tag Manager, and you'll get lots and lots of how-tos and step-by-steps and articles that you can use to make this key piece of grant information available to you, because it's really great to be able to say, hey, grantor, not only am I reaching the people that I want to reach through my website, they are actively seeking out the information that we're hoping that they get from us. So they're downloading what we want them to download, they're taking the survey we want them to take. So it's a really key piece of information and worth the time to set up those Google tags. And then finally, one that's maybe not overly apparent at first, but one that I always report on with my community health partners, and that is the time of day and the day of the week that your website is visited the most. And the reason I think this is so key is because a lot of the information that we're providing the community and the public is so pertinent to times of need for people. So let's say that you teach parents about how to talk to their kids about substance abuse. And if you see traffic on your website picking up late at night, or late at night on a Sunday, or at midnight on a Tuesday, it gives your grantor the indication that, hey, we are a resource for people when they are in their greatest time of need and when they aren't able to reach out to a lot of other resources or to find a lot of other resources at the time. So when they're in that deepest troublesome time of need, a lot of times, right? Middle of the night, we are there for them. We are a resource that they can go to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that's the third tip, reporting on that time of day and day of week. So that's what I have for you today to dig into as your homework until we meet again. So again, reporting on your grant efficacy analytics for community health by taking a look at that most visited pages number and then digging in a little bit further to see how long they're on that page and how often they visit that page, setting up some Google tags on your website to be able to track items that aren't web pages, such as surveys or downloadable information, and then finally that day of time or day of week and time of day that people are visiting your website. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure speaking with you over Facebook Live. And for more on how we help those in this very important field, you can visit kidglove.com/community wellbeing. Thanks so much and have a great day.